5:45, and we'll begin our work session at this time. We'll have our 6:30 council meeting following this. We'll start with Grace and work our way around. Okay. Allison,
No, sir.
Stacy, Kelly.
We've got our second of 5 budget work sessions after this meeting, and I just kind of wanted to let the public know where we are in the budgeting process. It's a $41 million budget that we're looking at, and in the general fund, we budgeted and projected revenue of $27.9 million. Budgeted operating expenses are $22.7 million, which that has a surplus of $5.2 million revenue over expense. But
Excuse me, Kelly, would you get the mic, please? We can't hear you well up
you
here.
want to come over here? Oh, yeah, there.
Can we get it?
So just to kind of go over the budget that was initially given to the council, it's a $41 million budget. $27.9 million is what is budgeted and projected in revenues for the general fund. $22.7 is budgeted in operating expenses, and that leaves a revenue over expense of $5.2 million. So after the projected revenues minus the operating expenses, including personnel costs, there's $5.2 left over. But that does not include new employee requests of $704,000, and the main thing is it does not include capital requests of $7.5 million. So there's 5.2 remaining revenue over expense, but there's 7.5 million in capital requests. So that leaves, there's 3 million in capital requests more than what we have the funding to do. So this council is charged with, and you guys have a hard task of determining of the 7.5 million in requests, what to cut. So that just kind of want to let everybody know where we are in the budgeting process. And so we'll start our second budget work session tonight.
Thank you, Kelly. Chief?
Not a whole lot. One thing I want to invite you to do is come by the department if you hadn't been in a while. The staff has taken it upon themselves to do some cleanup and a little bit of informal remodeling on their own, just because they're taking pride in the place, and that's something that we needed. I think morale's gotten better here recently, and if you notice in the lobby, they've put some shelves out there, and they got kind of a display of some of the old memorabilia that from Calera's police past that they found stored out at Station 3. And what we're wanting to do is put a couple of monitors out there for the public when they're sitting out there with information that will roll. And if you go in our training room, they've cleaned it up. I saw it for the first time. I was out of town last week. I saw it for the first time this morning. The training room looks awesome. They got it all straightened up, all the junk out of there. But on the monitor in there, when our shifts are coming in for shift change, and they have roll call, well, all of the pertinent announcements are on that screen, and it just rolls through one announcement after another, and they did it all themselves. Didn't know they were doing it. If I'd have been involved, it wouldn't have turned out nearly as good. But right now, we've got help. I think some of the SIS folks are coming over to help us pressure wash. We want to pressure wash the building. Side of the building looks bad, sidewalks look bad, the whole parking lot looks bad, but we've moved a lot of those junk cars out. We're trying to surplus stuff. We've got an old broke speed trailer out there, that's on the agenda tonight. We want to get rid of the junk, and we want the place to look professional. So they're doing that themselves, and like I said, I had nothing to do with it, but I'm proud of it. And that shows that they're motivated and they have pride in their city and where they work. That's all.
So,
Just at the back at work on the pickleball court at Rolling Hills. They're hoping tomorrow to be able to put the overlay on it. They were kind of prepping today for it, so hopefully that'll get back going. They were a little behind. There's only one guy that really does, and he was a little behind due to all the rain. So hopefully that project will get moving forward and be finished up.
do you have any estimation on that open date?
I don't. All they have left though, they redid the parking lot again, put the final on that. They just got to, after they do that, pretty much come back and finish the fence around it.
Okay.
Not much.
Good.
No, sir.
Bill?
I don't have anything.
Ready?
No, sir.
Start with the council and start with Kate.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you. Just school year?
Sure. Yeah, we're going to do all of the training initiatives that we did in the previous year, but what we're really going to try to do is increase at some of the schools with the younger kids. I think we had much more involvement at the middle and the high school, which is kind of natural, but we're really working hard on getting some additional programs. I don't know if y'all have seen the 9-square game that we brought, but I had no idea. It's this frame with, you got 9 sections in it, and the kids hit the ball. Good grief, they love that thing. So that's a great way, it's been a great way to attract kids when we go out to First Friday, or we're also planning to do an event at the 9/11 challenge. We always do the stair challenge in commemoration of 9/11 with our fire department. We're going to do it a little different this year. We want to have kids involved. And I really want to have kids against SROs and our explorers involved and make it a big fun issue, and also have a table and invite people to participate with CASE. Now, one thing we've discussed, and if my SROs are listening, they'll probably be mad at me for this, but we're talking about, the CASE camp was so successful this past year. If you came out, you saw those kids had a great time, and I think our staff had a great time too. We're thinking about doing that with more age groups next year. And if we get closer to fully staffed, we can allow our SROs to work with the kids all summer long, which I think would be a great thing to do. We're not to that point yet, and we were spread kind of thin because, we use our SROs for patrol as well in the summertime. But patrol stepped up and helped us out, and we were able to get CASE camp done. But for next year, in addition to the same programs that we were doing over the school year, we want to add more for the younger kids, and then next summer, we really want to add additional camps for other age groups other than just the rising 6th graders.
Well, we appreciate it very much, because it's positive for the children, and they really need that, because I can see the difference. They're getting involved, and they seem to completely enjoy it. We appreciate your officers for all they do.
They do a great job, and I do a great job of staying out of their way and taking credit for what they do. That's what I do. But no, they are absolutely fantastic, and you know what? We've attracted a lot of talent to come here, and that's something to be said for Calera, to be able to attract that. I mean, if you guys have met those, if you've seen them interact with the kids, we have got some talent, and we've got some dedicated people who love our schools and love the kids. So we're very lucky. I'm very lucky. We're all lucky to have those people. Thank you for bringing that up.
Right, we appreciate the dedication of the officers. We see it, it is fantastic. Next thing I have is for Public Works. Bill, would you give us an update on the signal at 31 and 16 and also 70 and 42?
70 and 42 is approved, and then you'll see that request for the engineering and construction in the capital budget. 31 and 16, he still owes me a confirmed yes, but I'm about 99% sure that they don't have a problem with it, so it's also in the capital budget.
So that's ALDOT that you're waiting on the confirmation?
Yeah, he gave us pretty much approval, but he said, let me get back to my office and double check a few things, and I'll give you a written approval. But I know they've been in plan review on much larger projects for the last couple of weeks. So we actually got to sync up on a couple of the meetings, but I would be shocked if it's not approved. But I feel like I'm about 99% sure it'll be approved as well.
So possibly we'll have some information in September
Oh yeah, oh yeah,
by the council meeting?
oh yeah, oh yeah.
Okay, all right then. That's all I have. Thank you.
Zebby?
I just want to echo what Ms. Kay said. The SRO, the Kemp case was great. I had the opportunity to come over a couple of days, and those kids thoroughly loved it. The SRO officers loved it, and I loved it as well. And I also want to say a shout out to the police officers. They did active shooter training. That is some intense training. If you have not witnessed it or taken part of it, you will see what these officers go through. Again, I appreciate them allowing me to participate in that. Bill, the pedestrian light there at the intermediate school, do we have an update on it? It's still not working?
Yeah, no, it's think parts are ordered, so probably last things came in, took about 6 weeks to get all the material for some reason. And that's another thing to think about too, is on the 70, 40, all that work, a lot of that stuff is back ordered. So if we place orders in October or November or whatever, but a lot of that stuff is back ordered. So probably a minimum 6 weeks, maybe 9 weeks to get the material to fix it.
So we're on target, I mean, we ordered the parts,
Ordered parts.
okay.
It's on the son's order.
And then there are a large number of streetlights, and I know we've had this conversation a couple of times. There are a large number of streetlights out. I personally counted 10 from the Napa up to Limestone.
Mhm.
Do we know when those will be fixed?
I don't. No, I know. I assume Miss Tracy reported them to Alabama Power, but no, I don't know. I don't know that. Usually give them 14 days from the day we report it. I think that's what they asked for, is 14 days.
Okay, that's all I have, thank you.
Jim?
Yes, sir. Down at Main Street, this might be a question for the law and Ms. Grace. Do we need any other easements to complete the work there?
For the electrical work y'all been talking about, if you approve it, we do need to expand that easement that we did previously to include specifically electrical work. I believe that discussion also included some drainage. I don't know what the council's decision is about actually funding that work. But if you're going to do it, we would need an easement as a first step to include those specific things.
That's all we got.
Kevin?
Yes, sir. Thank you. Mine is also directed to you, Ms. Grayson. I know we've talked about our same subject over a couple of months now. But what I wanted to know is, when do we need to have this public hearing for the change of government?
Well, it depends on, have y'all decided what you want to do yet?
Well, I mean, I guess that's a question to ask the council right now.
I mean, if you go with that first option, it just happens automatically. So you don't really need to have a public hearing. There's no real public hearing required. I think the citizen participation is due when you want to try to go to a city manager form of government. It's really a decision of the council to make decisions in that timeline. I believe the last memo, I don't have it in front of me, that Connie sent around had a timeline at the end, like by which you need to act. I mean, obviously, if the council thought, something's happened to my question, if the council thought that, they needed input in a public way, then obviously you'd want to have some kind of forum or something for people to weigh in on what they may want. And that would be totally within your discretion.
So basically, it's based on which option the council.
I mean, the options really require, the only one that requires citizen action is the city manager form of government. The other ones require y'all to act as a body. Either to make some decisions about where you're going to places, make some decisions about where you want to send them to districts, and of course that would require that somebody would come in and help you with redistricting. You need to make some decisions if you want to maintain the way it is right now, but all that's council action. So, I mean, that would just be the way you normally act. You can have a public portion of your hearing to hear from people, then you would pass an ordinance or resolution of permanent operation to make those decisions. So, but if you want to have something special, like the budget meetings that y'all are having, or something like that, you could do that and arrange for some sort of public forum. But the only one that requires citizen input is that last one for city manager.
The only other thing, well, as far as to the council, we've been kicking this can down the road month after month, council meeting after council meeting. And I'm asking the council and mayor, what action are we planning on taking? Are we ready to vote? Are we ready to make a decision? Each council, I'm asking each one of us, are we ready to make a decision on which direction we're planning on going?
Okay, starting with me, because you normally start with me. Yes, I'm ready to make a decision. I don't see why we would delay. We need to move forward with this. And what else whichever direction we want to go in, so we can move to other issues. So I'm in favor of making a decision on the form of government. Do we want to have a president, and the council members that we have, it can remain at large? We can keep the same 6. That's my take on it. We can vote to have it changed to where we have a president, and we continue it at large, instead of having to go through all of this, as far as I understood it, the discussion was, did we want to change the order of government? And that's that the mayor is no longer presiding over the council, that we have a president, and the mayor is no longer responsible to the city to vote with the council, or, preside over the council. So I'm ready to move forward with that.
I'm ready to move forward.
I've got one question for you, Ms. Grace. Can we have 7 council members?
You can if you go to single-member districts, and that will require districting out, and everybody will have to live in that district. So if there's 2 of you who live, well, I guess near each other, then you may be running against each other if you want to do it that way.
So, is what's on the table to talk about 6 council members and running at large?
I mean, that's certainly one of the options. If you do nothing and take no action, because you've had a population increase, at the next election in 2025, it would be 6 of you elected at large, and the mayor would then be down here, and you all would organize yourselves and elect among the 6 of you a president of the council who would preside over the meetings. The mayor would no longer be a voting member of the council. That's if you take no action. The other options require you to take some action.
Okay, yeah, I'm ready to vote.
I'm not ready to vote. I need to look at some more of this and look at it some more, But I'm making notes of what the individuals are saying, so I can, I'm not ready to vote tonight. I can vote next meeting, but I don't want to vote tonight. We didn't discuss it previously to vote tonight. So I've applied most of mine to G4 budget information.
The question wasn't that we was planning on voting tonight. The question were, are we ready to vote on it? It doesn't have to be tonight. Nobody said anything about tonight.
The push seemed to be there for the vote tonight, so that's why I make that comment. But, yeah, I consider being ready to vote in the near future. You want an answer?
And that's a yes for me as well. We could, whenever we're ready to vote, I'm ready to go forward.
And it's a yes for me also. So I guess, as Alan stated, can we have this put on the agenda for our next council meeting, that we be prepared to make that decision?
If y'all are gonna make a change, there needs to be a draft ordinance, and there needs to be something that you all can review, and that you're actually voting on some specific language. I mean, again, if you're gonna take no action, then this move to the mayor coming down here, and you all would remain up there and vote on a president, that'll happen automatically. You don't have to take any action. But if you want to do any of those other options that I outlined in the memo, that would require action. I think you need to get a draft together, and that needs to be done thoughtfully and deliberately with the right language, and then you would vote on some actual text right in front of you.
Okay, so let me ask you this. So based on that, then that's one portion of what is taking place. Because the other part to that is if we wanted to look into the form of government with a manager, does that have anything to do with this first part that we just talked about tonight. Because you, if I'm not mistaken, you said
You
if we
may-
take no action,
You mean if you want to hire a city manager or move to a manager, council, form of government? There's two of those things. Manager, council, form of government, that requires the people to weigh in. And you've got to get an election, you've got to get so many signatures, got to file with the probate court. There's a lot of steps to that. That's what this council wants to do. If you want to hire a city manager, that's sort of something you could also do. But the issue about whether there's going to be 6 or 7, is it at-large places, is it single-member district, those are decisions that have to be made by the council. And I would formalize those in a written document that everybody can read and understand and deliberate on and then vote on eventually. That would be my recommendation. That wouldn't just be done with some kind of, verbal motion in a second. I think, you need to lay out exactly what you want to do, unless what you want to do is just what happens automatically by operation of law. That's the mayor comes down here, there'll be 6 of y'all left, voted at large, just like you are now, and then one of you will be the presiding officer of the council and run the meeting.
so I guess that question would come before the council to make that decision. But that's separate. Because we.
So hire a city manager, is that what you mean?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, you could do that separately, yeah. I think the first question for y'all is how you want to organize yourselves. That would be my opinion about it. And there's several options for that on the table. Again, from do nothing to go to single member districts, everything in that, up to and including manager, council, form of government, which is what requires the people to weigh in. But you can hire a city manager separate and apart from that process if that's what y'all wanted to do. So.
Explain to me what you're saying, that the mayor sitting down and we having the president as a form of government, how that would happen automatically? Is it due to the population? What are you saying?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, so once y'all reach so much in population, it happens by operation of law in the next election, which for y'all is 2025. So if you do nothing, what's going to happen is you'll be elected just as before. It'll be at large. There's 6 spots. And the mayor then will be seated down here, and y'all amongst yourselves will decide who you want to be the presiding officer. That'll be a decision of the council. Okay, and then the mayor will be a non-voting member. And there's some things he can veto, but he can't vote on anything. And so that's just going to happen if y'all take no action at all. The other options require some kind of action. So that's why I'm saying, if y'all want to do the ones that require action, I certainly would ask Connie to draft up some sort of thing in writing that would lay out what y'all want to do, that would be in front of you all with the actual text, and y'all would have an opportunity to deliberate on that text, the actual words, and make sure that's what everybody wants to do before, or if there's disagreement, at least that will, raise the disagreement, like which direction you want to go in.
Yes.
That's option 1, correct?
Option 1 is doing nothing. That's option 1. Taking no action, not doing nothing. It happens by operation law.
Yeah, I think it would be appropriate to have that on the agenda and the council to, acknowledge that at this point, I guess, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I think you should definitely add it to your agenda. I think you should definitely give people notice of it. I would not recommend doing this one as an amendment to the agenda because it's obviously such a weighty topic. I give the people plenty of time to know it's going to be your agenda and get on to do some public comments if that's what they want to do. And I would give y'all an opportunity to see something in writing that would lay out kind of what the council's vision is for the future. If you want to do something that requires your action.
So Connie, if we ask you to do this within the next month, would that give you enough time to talk to each council member so that you can get a consent to which direction?
I mean, y'all can give me a direction tonight. If we're not changing to places, and we're going to keep the same voting, elect your top 6, then you do nothing. So it just be something drafted that says we will remain the same. But if you're going to number your places, go to 5, or if you, like Kennydale asked 7 to go to 7, we have to get someone in here to divide up the city into districts, equal districts. and that will require hiring someone to do that. So I need some direction as to which way y'all want to go, depending on what I draft.
Okay, well, and I'm in favor of doing nothing.
Okay.
Go with the nothing route.
You're nothing, Kay? Would you mind telling me, you want to do option one? Do you know which option you want?
The option I want is the one I stated in the first place.
To do
that-
nothing.
Right, that we have the form of government, that we elect the president in
Yes,
2025.
that's all I'm saying.
Right.
Okay.
I'm for the default of what it's going to happen based on population, yes, number one.
Number one. Kendall. Alan, you don't, you remember one too? Ernest? Okay. And this would mean that still your citizens, when they come to the poll, they would get one vote for a mayor and only one vote for a council member. Okay, so I want to make sure we all understood that one. Thank you.
And then the council that gets elected would then elect a president of that group.
Yes, it would be just like your organization.
And that's gonna happen because of the census population change.
Yeah, if you take no action, that will happen. Yeah. It has to happen, I understand you.
At your organization meeting, that first one in November, instead of electing a mayor pro tem, you would elect a council president and a council president pro tem.
Anything else?
That's all.
Alan? Ernest?
One thing, on what Councilman Morgan, I think we have up until February the 26th, which is the latest date to have all that in place, is that correct?
Yeah, I don't have the memo in front of me, but I can look online if we need to. But yeah, at the end of that memo, the last version, Connie sent out, I'll do that timeline when you have to act. But it's around there, yeah.
I think it's late February, if I remember right.
Yeah.
But anyway, we could, even if it's, it seems to be a consensus, but if there's a little time, either like Adam was just saying, things he wants to look over, there's still plenty of time, but we do want to go ahead and
Yeah, I
find
mean,
something to do.
that's right. I mean, if y'all want to do I think the most complicated would be the manager council form of government. That's going to require a long time, okay? And other people. The next one's probably single member districts, because you've got to get some expert to come in and make sure we're not violating the civil rights acts and all that in terms of the way people are divided. And then you kind of move down in difficulty from there. I don't think places are that difficult if I wanted to do that. I don't really know that obviously it's not difficult, although we're going to memorialize that, intent. So, yeah, I mean, the more complicated you get, you probably need to back up that timeline,
And just one other thing, just for information, the project that's going on, Aldott is doing on Highway 31, did they just leave town or something?
I've been watching the equipment parked next door. I thought they were gonna crank up last night and go somewhere, but.
I think they're milling first and then come back and do the overlays. So I think they're north of here milling. But no, they hadn't left. They called me today about an issue, so no, they hadn't left. They'll be back.
Maybe I just wondered about.
I think they,
I think the road, since they got them prepped to do the pavement, now with the heavy trucks and all, it's really begin to dig also as you're going up. Say, if they're close up tomorrow, and you can probably see it really getting really bad.
yeah, I didn't think to ask him. He had asked us not to take out the grade stakes when we cut grass. So I didn't think to ask him when they were gonna finish up. I can ask him, see what their schedule is.
That's all I have there.
Bill,
Yes.
on the bridge,
Mhm.
where the concrete meets the paving, it is so rough. I mean, it's almost at a point you almost could burst your tire when you, going at 20 miles an hour, 15 miles an hour, to hit that, is there any way possible that they can smooth that just a little bit?
You talking about 31?
31, up at the bridge,
Which bridge?
Walmart, up at Walmart.
Yeah, I'll talk to Andrew tomorrow and see what,
It's very rough.
see when they're coming back.
They milled it, so it's just
Yeah,
probably an inch and a half bump, it's a hard bump.
I'll ask him tomorrow.
I don't know how they mill so much of it. They used to mill one lane and pave it, and they've got a different way of doing it every time they do it, so.
Yeah. But I'll ask him tomorrow.
Okay.
It's rough, be careful on a motorcycle. If you're not in a motorcycle, it's bad.
Yeah, sure.
We've got a few minutes, and I see a real distinguished guest that showed up in our room. I don't mind putting you on the spot, Miss Jennifer. Come up and talk to us for a second.
Absolutely. Look, I'm tired. I'm just going to be honest with you. I'm tired. I can hardly think straight. So I just wanted to come just on behalf of Clear High School and just thank you guys for the $10,000. We appreciate it very much. I think there's some other schools that were going to meet me here tonight, but I just happened to get here earlier. The other thing that I really want to thank you guys for is the second thing besides that is the SROs that you guys have in our school. Chief and them do an amazing job. And the third thing is for Seth Gandy over here and his guys and what they do for our facilities and our fields. We are spoiled beyond measure, and we appreciate that. So just brought a little something for you guys from the high school. These are the shirts that we're giving our teachers this year, and just wanted to share one. So we go. So I will bring them up to you if that's okay. Can I approach?
Come on.
All right. I was like, I hope I counted right. If not, I may be back from the back. All right, so.
Tea.
Petite. And then Calvin also had a petite.
There you go. Thank you.
Alan, little bitty petite over here. Ernest, let's see, right here. And Connie, just because she's amazing and answering emails.
I got a triple X.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. And then Mr. Cost.
What size this is?
He's in a youth, smaller.
Miss Byers. And
Thank you.
Miss Hayturner. Thank you. Anyway, just wanted to thank you guys so much. To let you know, we are hoping by the end of the month, the new wing to be open, hopefully end of August, beginning of September. We've got our teachers, we've been doing a lot of moving, getting them ready to go, and that's going to be our freshman wing. We're calling it The Landing. Actually got this idea from a parent at a baseball game because the Eagles has landed. So this is where our freshmen are going to be at the school, and then we're going to call it The Landing for them. So we're real excited about it and looking forward to working with you guys this year. So thank you.
Thank you.
May I ask one question, please?
Sure.
I'm sorry, but the new building, the addition to the school,
Yes.
did everything finish inside of that as well?
Almost. So the inside is very, very close. We're going to be there tomorrow and Wednesday. If you guys want to come by, just take a stroll through it. Just let us know. The office tomorrow will be open. On Wednesday, just ring the buzzer and we'll get you in. We'll be getting ready for our freshman orientation that afternoon. But we would love for you guys to come see it. If you want to come take a stroll through it and see, it's close. It's really, really close.
Nice.
So we're excited. It looks really good. And our teachers are excited, and our students are excited as well. So can't wait for y'all to see it.
I took a walk through 2 weeks ago,
Mhm.
and it was
And there's a lot of
near
progress since
completion.
then. Mhm.
I'm very impressed with the building, the way they built the building, they have metal storm doors on the inside of the doors, and then the windows have a fold down.
So it is a tornado safety shelter.
It's a
So
really
there's
nice
windows
building.
that close, there is a generator, a button to press for a generator if we ever get into that situation in case electricity goes out. But it's looking really, really good. So
We
we
just
love-
hope that,
love
hope
y'all
that
to
never
see it.
happens, but we are safer in that
Correct.
building than we are any other building in
Correct.
your facilities.
Correct.
So it's nice.
It looks really good.
Thank you for coming to speak to
You're
us.
welcome. Thank you guys so much. We really appreciate the support and the extra money that's going to be put to good use for our students. Thank you.
Thank you.
Jackie, we have you on here. I don't know if you want to speak to us now. We've got about 9 minutes.
I can just share a little bit. I know a lot of you have been downtown recently, but for those of you that haven't, it is looking so great. I could not be more proud of this playground. Everybody is loving it. Huge shout out to Seth and his team. They got the fence up and it was beautiful, and of course, numerous. I can't name enough people in Public Works and engineering to get everything safe and secure for First Friday. And we had First Friday, we hated that it rained, but what happened was we could enjoy this gigantic pavilion and the playground, except for the times that it was lightning. So the kids had a blast, and even though we had some rain and vendors had to leave early, people were still able to go to the food truck or visit some of our downtown merchants and sit under the pavilion, listen to the DJ, and still have a good time, even though it was raining. So that's really awesome, and what it did was kind of prove to us how many things can still go on. We're not going to be so weather dependent. Certain things can happen all the time just because of this amazing pavilion. So it's gorgeous, people love it, and I looked out several times today, and I've not seen a time that there wasn't a child with a mama watching, playing on the playground. So I think it's going to really bring us a lot of foot traffic and a lot of excitement downtown. So huge thank you there. Also, they're getting ready to complete the alley activation. That is almost done. The arch is set to be, or the date that they gave me is the 20th. I hope that is still happening. In a couple weeks, the arch will be up, and they're pouring concrete later this week, and that's going to be just about done. So it's my goal to have something in the middle of September where we can celebrate all of that, the alley activation being finally totally complete. You know, we started with just lights and then the mural, but all these other things will complete it. Oh, and I didn't mention the benches. So that $7,500 grant bought the most gorgeous benches, and Seth was able to get those put together and delivered on Friday, or Thursday, Friday, something like that, and they stand out. They're so pretty, so excited about that, and it's just all coming together. So I know you guys will be ready to see it all completed, and none more than me. It's good though. So it was the last First Friday of the season, and it went unfortunately wet, but went well still. And just because that's over, there's a lot of other new things on the horizon with this new addition to the courtyard. We have a car show coming up in September. I may have mentioned this already, but we're planning a lot more for Christmas. We're going to do our first Festival of Trees, and you know, in the heat of summer, I've been talking to North Carolina trying to get some trees. So just a lot of great stuff. I don't know if anybody has any questions for me, but it's just a brief update. Thank
We
you.
appreciate what you're doing down there.
Thank you so much.
Looks good. So quiet, isn't it? James, I didn't ask you about what you may have, I'm sorry.
I don't have anything new.
Okay. Just keep making this look good, right?
We're trying.
Sharing all of our posts on social media. surplus items, you mentioned you're taking some of those vehicles down to the storage lot.
Yes,
below
we
the
did.
Shop.
I think we got them, all of them finally. We had one that we had a lot of trouble getting moved, but, yes, sir. And, we're gonna have another round surplus stuff we're gonna bring in probably next city council meeting. We're working through it. It's a lot. Station 3, if you haven't been out there and looked at what all had been accumulating there for the last, I don't know, 20-plus years, it's quite a bit. We had the bicycles on here, didn't we? I believe we did this time. But we're gonna give the bicycles to kids that need them. We're working with New Mount Moriah and also Brandon Allen's mentorship program to find kids to donate those bicycles to. If it's not on these, it'll be in the next one. Got about, I guess it's not in there, is it, Connie? It'll be in the next group. 30 to 40 bicycles that have been recovered from thefts and never claimed. Some of them, been there forever, and there's no sense in them just sitting there. So we're going to try to, the ones that need repair them and give them to kids.
Was a couple, quickly, I think it may be going on at all the schools open next week. But I know that from what I've been told, and I was invited to come over to the middle school, to let the kids in, come in, and I think they're going to be prayer from the churches, prayer around the flagpole, and to greet the children, young people as they come in, and anything to try to inspire them. Open the pathway for our school year with, we call it praise or blessings. So, a lot of them going in on that. I think it'll be around 9 o'clock. In 9 o'clock. Prayer all the kids.
Is that gonna be at the middle school? Okay.
What day did you say, Dennis?
Thursday.
Thursday.
A lot of changes in traffic patterns, a lot of things changed at this time of year.
Saturday was rough on the interstate.
We'll have a lot of local traffic with the buses running. Hope everybody's safe. At the elementary school, nearly everybody stops and walks their children in on those first few days of school. I know it's congested in that area. I guess you've got police ready to assist.
Well, that's another reason we're so grateful to have 7 SROs, and they can handle the traffic, because, we just don't have the patrol staff to do it. So I know there's still problems. There's always going to be problems with traffic, but a lot of them we can't solve. But at least we've got enough staff to keep the schools safe and to help with the traffic as well. We haven't always had that.
Alan, would you want to consider?
Father God, we come to you and just thank you so much for what you do for us, Father. We know that there's a lot of moving parts going on in our city now, and we know that you're aware of every one of them, Father. We'd like for you to touch each child and school administrator and teacher, staff. As the year begins, Father, give them a good start to the year and confidence to do their best, Father. We ask that you be with us as we make decisions for the city, and we ask these things in your son's name. Amen.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, the agenda is the approval of our agenda as presented.
I motion we approve.
Got a motion?
Second.
Motion and a second.
If I want to amend the agenda, is this part of that?
If the agenda is approved, amending it takes a 2/3 vote. If the agenda, you just move to vote and adopt the agenda, so you can amend it, it just takes a greater number of people to amend.
I would like to bring it to their attention to amend the agenda.
I got a motion and a second on the table. All in favor for the agenda, say aye.
Aye.
Ernest, second. Opposed likewise.
So I'm not gonna get to amend the agenda.
Now you can make a motion to amend the
Okay,
agenda.
I'd like to make a motion to
Which
amend
one?
the agenda. I'm not going to tell you what the agenda is. It's to vote to declare the clear courtyard and the adjacent properties as a public purpose. That's one of them. And then to vote to move forward with connecting the electrical, the conduit for communications and gutter drains. Main Street is willing to pay $50,000 toward the supplies. And they're asking the city to pay the remaining materials and the labor. That's what's on the agenda.
Yep. I mean, there's a motion on the floor, so it would be a second, and then you're gonna have like a supermajority to approve. I mean, I would just say this, if you want to make, because public purpose is something that's required by our Constitution, I would urge you to put that in writing and let Connie come up with something that y'all could deliberate on and vote on. And then, of course, it still requires, for at least for the electrical work, that we have an easement that includes that, as I said earlier, and anything else that you think, is the public purpose. Because you can't, otherwise you're not going to be able to do the work. You've got to have an easement. It's unconstitutional to act without the easement and the public purpose. Okay.
Can we put the easement, this be a part of it, is the easement?
I mean, I need to amend the easement, and I need to get it back to city officials and take a look at it, and to include whatever, I know the electrical, but there's other things that Main Street mentioned in that last meeting. I don't know what everybody feels about that. But of course, I'm happy with the mayor's permission to amend that and put it back before y'all, for consideration. But I would recommend making something in writing about the public purpose and how you want to move forward and what that public purpose is and what you intend to, what the benefit is to be derived to the public by making this expenditure. And I would definitely put that in writing because you've got to have that to be constitutional and to spend this money. So that would be my recommendation.
Do we have to do that before we can vote on whether we can order electrical materials?
Yes, sir. You've got to have the easement in place, you've got to have the stated public purpose, whatever the council thinks that is, and then you can move forward if the council intends to do so and allocating the money. Of course, that's, if we have money to allocate. So,
And I'm assuming this would be in the 2025 budget, right? This isn't something you're talking about getting done before the end of September. So it would be done.
Right now, we got the money in the budget.
And talking to Robert, it's like, I think he said an 8 to 12 week lead on the stuff coming in. And if it doesn't come in for 8 to 12 weeks, that's a next year expenditure, not a this year expenditure.
Okay. Well, I guess we need to get the paperwork rolling for the easements and everything together and then bring it back for a vote.
yeah, I would recommend putting something in writing about the council's stated public purpose, just so that all of you are covered in terms of what you stated as a legislative body would satisfy the constitutional
I
requirement.
think too, we're getting ahead of ourselves with AT&T. Because I don't know that we've been told exactly what they want. have we?
Yeah.
I don't have the cost, no. I
Well,
don't
as far
have,
as the conduit, they're putting the conduit in.
yeah, they talked with you, I guess y'all probably know what conduit, but I don't know their cost for relocation. They haven't sent me their cost estimate for relocate.
We had to pay them to do that.
We had to pay them to do a cost estimate.
Cost estimate, okay. So we got some things that, the easement needs to involve, telecommunications or, other than just electrical, it's telecommunications and, drainage.
Yeah, I mean, whatever y'all are agreeing to spend public money on, the easement needs to include all of those things. And once that's in place, you still need your public purpose. You have to state that and get it on the record, and then you have to allocate the money for it. So that's kind of the steps that need to happen. I'm happy to help anybody to get some language from easement. The mayor wants to authorize that work, but y'all have to tell me kind of what you want to include and all that. I know we talked about electrical, but I know there were other things that were mentioned at that last meeting with Main Street's presentation. And if the council wants to go forward with that, just let me know.
Thank you. The,
So, excuse me, so we're agreeing to move forward with it, you will do the documentation or whatever it is, and then.
Yeah, I mean, I'm happy to revise the easement. We already have one easement, but when I read back, it does not include electrical specifically. It deals with other utilities, so we will have to be modified. And Mayor, with your permission, I'm happy to help with that language. We'll have to get those owners of the property to sign that again and grant us permission to give us an easement on things that y'all intend to do.
I think that's the appropriate way to do it. On the agenda, we have the approval of the minutes from last meeting and the budget work session and the regular work session on July 15th. Mayor, make a motion to dispense.
Make the motion.
A motion and a second, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Budget work session dates, everybody has those dates. We've got a meeting following this, council meeting in the room in the back, and then we have a Wednesday meeting as well, so everybody's got those dates, correct, Kelly?
Yes.
Resolution 2024-38 is the Grant Management LLC renewal with Kara.
I have a question about this. I'm all for renewing this, but I did notice that there was some pricing that was broken out into increments. So will we be able to get the discount, we'll be able to pay for this up front all?
Yes, we can pay for it. It's a significant savings if we pay her all at once up front. And so we'll pay for it in September, book it as a prepaid, so we'll pay it in September, but the expense won't hit the next year. So that allows us to get the reduced cost and have the expense hit next year.
I think Kara's done a fabulous job so far. Hard to compare. It's just really good.
She was in Washington last week talking to the Federal Railroad on our behalf.
She goes and goes. So. Anybody want to make that motion?
Yeah, Mayor, I'd like to make it, but I'd like to make it to pay in full.
Got a motion?
I'll second.
Motion in a couple of seconds. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, likewise. Resolution 2024-39 is the first kind of round of some of your police surplus items Chief mentioned to you. I think a motion we surplus those items you got.
Yeah, I'll motion we approve that.
I second.
Got a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, likewise. We covered your time, didn't we, Jackie?
I think so.
Okay. That's all I have on my agenda.
I make a motion to adjourn.
So